Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to 2019, the Morning Ramble
It
sequel.
is here.
The Morning Rambling.
That's
I'm
right.
Matt.
I'm Eric.
Do you want to restart that?
Sure.
Welcome to the Morning Ramble. This is the beginning of Season 2, the sequel.
If there is a season.
It is a season.
Okay. Are we coming out with like a box set?
Yeah.
Cool.
The first season was 16 episodes. This season will be
TBD.
more than 16 episodes. But welcome back. We've missed you, actually missed you. We've kind of had the podcast jonesing going on, so we started literally the first week of January.
Well, that's been going on.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave when you see like a lot of like late night hosts that when they like take a break for the holidays or just whenever and they come back and they're just like,
Yeah.
And I think it's the same here because, we have as many viewers as they do.
Obviously.
And, welcome all the new viewers as well.
Yes. Thanks for coming. Anyway, we're going to start out this week with really the Prometheus of our show. And we just love this guy so much. He's a really big friend and a fan. And I just need to find that, which I should have put it in a separate thing.
Should have had it ready.
That's fine, though.
Starting off strong.
Yeah, we're starting the new year off real strong.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this was December 22nd, 2018. So this was right after our break started.
Okay.
So Gritty has been featured in the New Yorker.
Obviously, as he should.
He may not have been named Person of the Year, but a high-toned publication is giving the Flyers mascot some mad props. He featured in the article titled "The Year in Good Men." The journalist remarks that 2018 was a tough one for the reputation of the American male.
It was.
But Gritty is pure male ID.
Yep.
Without any of the menace.
We've struggled a lot, and if it wasn't for him, I don't know how we would have made it through.
Yeah, and you know what, honestly? I'm just so happy.
That we could talk about him again?
Honestly, I'm just happy that he's still relevant. Like, I don't ever want him to disappear.
I don't think so. We live in Pennsylvania, and 2 hours south is Gritty's hometown.
Yeah, but this was in the New Yorker, which is in New York.
Which is another 2 hours north.
Yeah. But it's 4 hours from his hometown.
Yeah.
He's getting around.
He's getting around. Almost there. Around the country. So, was that the biggest news we missed during our leave?
It certainly wasn't the biggest news we missed.
Can we talk about that? I don't think we talked. We didn't prep at all, by the way. The biggest news that has been going on. A little bit of a fundraiser for a small project in our country.
Oh, we can absolutely talk about that right now.
I mean, I don't think anyone's talking about it, but it's a really good cause.
Eric, put up the. Can you put up the artist the artist rendition of The Wall?
Yeah, I could find.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
This imaginary project that is never going to come to fruition in this country, and I truly believe that. I know that some people don't.
Yep.
But let's just think about it for a second.
Well, before we do, for people who aren't into politics.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We should probably.
We're talking about Trump's wall, the big wall. There was a veteran. I forget the guy's name. He's a Purple Heart. He received the Purple Heart, I think. He started a GoFundMe page, and it took off like crazy. I think it's slowed down by now, but from the last time I checked, it was over 18 million. Yeah. Which is crazy. But within the first 3 days, I think I actually did the math at one point within the 3 day period, and it was raising like $2,600 a second. That's like at one point.
Pretty amazing.
It's every time I clicked on the GoFundMe page, it's just like just now, and there was like 24 of like different donations, anywhere from like $5 to like hundreds of dollars. People were donating.
Yeah, and you know what the weird part about that was? Not a single donor was Mexico. I'm a little thrown by that.
You don't know.
Because I was told
they could have money laundered it
that Mexico
Americans.
was paying for the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Listen, Mexico was never going to pay for the wall. Obviously, that was never going to happen. You can't. The only way, I mean, it started off with like saying they're going to during his campaign, and I hate to go back to this. Has been because I mean we're like 3 years out now. You know, and then it went into like, oh, business wise through taxes and stuff, and then now it's just like, oh, well, now we're gonna do less business with them, and
now we're gonna shut down the government,
and now we're gonna you know, I don't even care about the government shutdown. So we've been through so many.
Well,
doesn't even matter. They still take my money.
They still take your money, but
they take your money.
The fact of the matter is there are some government employees who don't get paid during this time, which is absolutely stupid.
Like congressmen.
And well, that was another thing that I
they
that
still
I saw,
get paid.
Where it was just like when the government shuts down, Congress people should not get paid. Mm-hmm. And I fully agree with that because there you go. There's an incentive to not shut the government down.
Yeah.
Now the government has shut down a total of 8 times ever. 6 of those times have been in the last decade.
Yeah.
3 of those times have been under Trump's presidency.
Was it 3 times in the last 2-3 years? Mm-hmm. You sure?
When it was
wasn't it one like a day or not even? And then Obama had a couple, right? If I remember.
Yes.
And it was like for the same thing. Like, you know, it's all part. It's all part. It's all partisan.
I'm not saying that, you know.
No, I mean
Trump's any worse than Obama in this respect. I'm not.
I mean, let's be honest. Technically, they have no control whether the government shuts down or not. They just have a persuasion towards their constituents, which in case vote in the congressman, and you know that's how politics. Yeah. That's how politics work.
Does it make sense to you to have have a backup basic budget? Where it's like if they cannot reach an agreement by this particular point, the backup basic budget goes into effect.
I'm the wrong person to ask because as I get older, I'm getting more and more libertarian, and I just want to cut spending across the board. I don't care what it is. It could be the EPA. It could be honestly cut military spending. Yeah, I don't care. Do it. We spend too much. We're in too many countries. We're all over the place. Why are we doing this? Like it's just a budget to say, hey, we can have more debt. Yeah, yes. Congratulations.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, this whole idea with always having a military on standby has been in effect since World War II.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, really, there are many countries that rely on us, you know, for
That sounds like a bad thing.
It is, but I mean, it also has helped them prosper, other countries prosper. Like, do you think other European countries would be able to do what they do economically if they had to also fund, train, and supply for their military?
Do you think I give a shit about Uruguay?
You should care about Sweden.
I do.
Those Swedes.
Of course I care about Sweden, just not Uruguay.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about Uruguay or the people in Uruguay. I promise. That was a joke.
But we know about Sweden.
But we do know about Sweden.
Frozen.
Yeah, from Frozen and nothing else.
But anyway, we digress.
Yeah, we went off the wall.
Anyway, the wall's being funded by GoFundMe. The money's not going to go there right now. They're trying to pass a bill. I think Democrats are trying to pass a bill without the $5.7 billion for the wall. Yeah. Republicans are, I guess they're trying to pass a bill with it. I don't know. I actually haven't been paying too much attention. So.
Oh, we've been on break. So we'll get back into the full swing of things. We just really wanted to get back and talk about some things that we saw.
Yeah.
I really hope that everything works out.
Yeah. Well, I just read today that if they don't, if the government doesn't start back up in a couple of weeks, the IRS will not be able to do refunds. Did you read that?
I did read that actually this morning.
So, yeah, that stinks. They should also stop taking my money though. That would be good.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
One of these days we'll do a deep dive on taxation. It'll be good.
All right. We'll talk about crimes another day. See, I'm going full Ron Paul on you.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. What's next? What do you got?
All right. We're going to talk about our boy whose name, yes, we did mispronounce in our last podcast. His name is Beto.
Beto. Is that how you pronounce his first name?
Beto.
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 Is it Beto?
Something like that.
Okay.
I had been calling
him
O'Rourke.
Beta. O'Rourke. Let's talk about O'Rourke.
Anyway, O'Rourke. This is from Capital in Maine, co-published by The Guardian and Newsweek. how Beto O'Rourke, a potential Democratic candidate for presidency, has undermined his own political efforts to halt the GOP agenda. So, a rising Democratic star has voted for GOP bills that Trump critics have aided big banks, undercut the fight against climate change, and supported the president's anti-immigrant agenda.
Okay.
Following his spirited run for the U.S. Senate, powerful voices in the Democratic Party establishment have touted the outgoing Texas congressman as 2020 presidential candidate, which is what we said in the last podcast. He's young.
Yeah.
He's rather handsome, and that's played well in the Democrats' hands before.
Yeah.
He has represented one of the most Democratic congressional districts in the entire country. He has, in many instances, undermined his own party's efforts to halt the GOP agenda, frequently voting against the majority of House Democrats in support of Republican bills and Trump administration positions. They reviewed the 167 votes that he has cast in opposition to the majority of his own party in the House during his 6-year tenure in Congress. Many of those votes were not progressive dissents alongside other left-leaning lawmakers, but were instead votes to help pass Republican-sponsored legislation. In many cases, Democratic lawmakers said that these measures were designed to help corporate interests dismantle Obama administration programs and regulations. So, basically, when you're going to vote for somebody, look up their past, and it's not hard. There are a lot of sites that actually do this for you.
So what it's saying there is that he's been voting for, in the past, was it GOP?
I suppose what it's saying is he's a moderate.
Oh. Shame.
Which is also hilarious because we both consider ourselves semi-moderate.
Yeah, I would consider myself moderate.
But, like, it's like, oh, he voted against his own party. I think that's one of the huge problems in this country.
I'd be totally fine. You know, I mean, honestly, there was a handful of Democrats I might have voted against Trump, you know, and I know that's crazy to say right now because, you know, it's not like I'm disappointed with Trump. I'm not, just because of all the Supreme Court nominees that he's done. But, you know, I was looking for anyone at that time because he's not a conservative. Okay, if you're a conservative watching this, Trump is not a conservative. He's not. Okay, and to say that he is nuts because the conservative want to have done half the stuff that he's done so far. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I don't think O'Rourke has any chance.
No, I don't.
Even if he announces,
and he will. I feel like he will.
Mm-hmm. So it's candidate watch time because we have someone who announced.
Yes, we certainly do. And who was that, Eric?
It was the person that I literally said constantly would be the first person to announce, and she didn't even make it to the new year.
Hillary Clinton.
She's
back, ladies. We're kidding.
Put down the knife. It was on New Year's Eve, I think. I saw it was like around noon. I saw the New York Times article, and it says Elizabeth Warren. The way it's worded is a little bit weird. Like they said, she announces her run for 2020 presidential election, but in her official ad campaign, I think I saw on YouTube, was that she has announced to make some type of committee to kind of, I guess, play the field on her running for 2020. But it's pretty much she's announcing that she's running. So it begins. How
do you feel about that, Eric? Do you think it's a little early? Do you think that we should have some sort of...
I don't think it's early at all. I don't. I mean, it's 2020 right now, but I mean, next year, technically, within a year, we're going to be going into the primaries. Within a year, we'll be only 2 or 3 months out from the primaries. So I don't think it's early at all. In fact, I think within the next 2 months, we're going to have another half a dozen announced. I wouldn't be surprised. It might not be some of the big players that I was talking about. Like, I don't know about Biden if he does choose.
Yeah, I don't think Biden.
Or Hillary. I don't think they would announce early if they were going to run. But as far as Warren goes, I mean, I've said on here before how I feel about her. I don't like her. I don't like her policies, and I think she's a hypocrite. That's one thing. The second thing, though, politically, as a Republican and conservative, I am terrified of her as a candidate. Truly, I mean that. I think she is very knowledgeable. She's a great public speaker, and I think that she has a kind of persuasion with her demographic that sits very well, I think, with women and, anyone from the Democratic Party. So I think that she is. I hope the Republicans and Trump don't take it lightly, which I know they will. But you know what I mean? Because it's gonna be tough. I mean, first she has to win the Democratic ticket. That's one thing.
I mean, if she does, we're just gonna get another race of millionaire versus billionaire.
Yeah, and that's the
like
thing.
Elizabeth Warren is worth like $7 million or
something like that.
Crazy thing.
Well,
like that.
you've seen Republicans. They've criticized her because she talks about how tuition's too high, and then yet she taught a couple of classes, I think, at Harvard, and I think she made over $400,000 for teaching that one class. I don't know how long it was. I don't know if it was just one semester or a couple, but that's just crazy. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I think we're definitely going to see one or two more senators announce in the next 2 months. So
yeah. And we can indeed verify that The Rock is not running.
He's not.
He said that he is quite certain that he's not going to run.
It's probably a good thing.
However, if he were to run as a Democrat, which is what I think he would run as.
Oh yeah, he would run as a Democrat. Well, he can't run against the sitting president. I mean, you could. Just the party's
they're
not
going to do it. Wait until the Democratic National Convention. Wait until whoever they decide to go with is on stage.
Yeah.
And then The Rock just comes in and just body slams them, pins them, and then he's now the...
That's assault.
He's now the guy. Well, it's staged.
Okay.
It's staged.
All right. So everyone fakes their vote or something?
It's staged, yeah.
Okay.
It's very well staged, and then they come out later and they're like, "Yeah, we all voted for The Rock because he's awesome."
Yeah.
Also, now in a new segment, which we didn't talk about before.
Okay.
But now you're gonna have to write a logo for.
Surprise.
Enjoy this. On to movies that we thought might be okay, but bombed.
All right, I like it. Well, I've always wanted to do movie reviews.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, what movie did you see?
Sherlock Holmes and Watson.
Oh, okay. How did a Tad saw it.
It's real bad.
Is it bad?
It's real bad.
He liked it.
I'm sorry, Tad. Buddy, I'm sorry, but it's not good. It's not a good movie.
On a scale of...
I'd give it a solid 10%, Eric.
10%? Okay.
There were a couple okay moments, but the movie was just... It was all over the place.
So not as good as Step Brothers.
No.
How about Talladega Nights?
No.
All right, good, because I love that movie.
I mean, I would say that this is probably my least favorite Will Ferrell.
Will Smith and John C. Reilly, they're coming out with comedies left and right.
I was thinking about another Will.
I loved Will Smith and Step Brothers.
I would say it was my least favorite Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm.
I had a 50-50 chance on Famous Wills. Oh, no, Will Arnett's a thing. Crap. All right, whatever. Either way, the movie is doing very poorly.
Yeah.
It's currently sitting at a lovely 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, that's given with any Will Ferrell movie, so.
I don't know. So most of them are in the mid-40s.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I mean, I don't think they were shooting for critically acclaimed with this one.
Oh, no.
I think they were just shooting for some money.
I mean, when I saw the previews, I was like, man, this looks fun.
I had my doubts. I mean, they're, it's honestly, it's luck when you get a movie like Step Brothers that is just, it's very quotable. People love it a lot. I mean, obviously it didn't do good in the box office when it came out, but just, people have watched almost everyone has seen it.
It's a cult classic.
It's funny. Yeah.
It's a good movie. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about today?
No, I think that's it, surprisingly.
Anyway, well, that's it for the first episode of 2019, The Morning Ramble. As you can see, we have updated our set. We have updated our camera.
Have we? We've
done a lot of good stuff. We haven't learned how to turn our cell phones onto whatever.
And the lamp stays.
So I lost that one.
Yep.
Anyway, have a good day.
We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.